So one of the most common injuries we see in the clinic is knee pain. Lots of people get knee pain from either not moving enough or from the activities they do perform, which can cause knee pain. So anybody that's watched a lot of our videos or paid attention to the newsletter knows that we're huge advocates of foam rolling. So one of the problems we see with a lot of people's knees is big muscle imbalance through their hips and their legs. Real quick test, we've demonstrated this before, but we'll just review it. As I'm laying on my stomach, I should easily be able to kick myself in the butt. So if we find that our quads are really stiff and we're a few good inches more than a fist's width away from your hip, then we're going to have a lot of tension to the front of the quad, and ultimately that's going to come down and pull and affect your knee. So foam rolling out that quad, releasing the tension through the quad, either just by going vertically up and down, or being a little more sadistic and starting to roll side to side as we lower ourselves across the quad, will help to buy us some slack and get that to loosen up. When we see people that get knee pain from lifting things and doing activities, a lot of times it's a misunderstanding of how our body should transfer energy. One of the old adages in lifting to prevent back pain was lift with your legs. A lot of people misinterpret that to mean that I'm going to keep my spine vertical, and as I bend down to pick something, well, if I try to keep my spine vertical, I have no choice but to create max flexion from my knees. And you will absolutely, you may not hurt your back doing this, but you're absolutely going to smoke out your knees. So we have to understand the difference between active and passive bending of my knees. If I pick one leg up and I flex my hip, well, my knee bent, but I didn't really think about bending my knee. So as I go to pick something up, when we say lift with your legs, a better phrase would be lift with your hips. I want to feel the weight sink into my hips. Now my knees bent, but they didn't go anywhere. My knees didn't thrust forward. As I pulled back through my hips, my knees casually bent, and I can use my glutes and the bigger muscles of my legs to move whatever weight it is I'm going to lift. The last thing that we see that's very common amongst people with knee pain is they hurt their own knees doing dumb things. So for example, if you're going to be doing any work around the house, kneeling on hard surfaces makes no sense. You've only got so much cartilage behind your kneecap, and the more pressure I put through that hard floor, it's going to be very tough to regrow that cartilage. We're going to assume you can't, so let's not waste it. So if I'm going to do any work on the ground, I'm going to make sure I'm on something that's well cushioned or padded. Even if you have to buy those happy knee pads while you're cleaning baseboards or whatever, it's well worth the investment. But then how you get down to the floor makes a huge difference as well. When we work with patients on the floor, having them do stretches or exercises, it's amazing how many people with knee pain will come down to the floor in full flexion. Again, if we were to say what pro athletes have the worst knees amongst everybody, without a doubt, it's baseball catchers. With even no contact, most baseball catchers are done catching at about 30 or 35 and playing first base because being in this position is so stressful on your knees. So rather than squatting my way onto the floor, we want to make sure that we're using our hips so I can lunge my way to the floor, either to get down or to get up. Doesn't take any extra time. It's actually way easier on your knees and your lower back, and helps involve those big muscles in our glutes. Most patients, when we demonstrate that to them and have them perform it, their first comment is, wow, that felt so easy. It's easy because it's the most efficient way for your body to do that. So with just a little bit of thought, foam rolling, how we lift items, and what we do with our knees, you can make sure you get through the whole summer without